What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Jeremy's Point of View. Here in today's episode, I wanted to go into a news story that I found intriguing, and the reason I picked this is because I am a fan of Justin Roiland's work. I'm a fan of Rick and Morty. If you guys watched my review of the High on Life video game, you guys know I enjoy that brand of offbeat, dark, humor. It's something that I enjoy. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. If you're not into it, it is what it is. Everybody's got their own tastes when it comes to things in life. So this story, though, really intrigued me. I was reading through it, and I wanted to break this news to you guys and also go into a little bit of a discussion on it and also get your guys' thoughts and opinions on the matter and what you think ultimately should have been the result of, everything that was going on. Do you guys agree with this result? So before we dive into the news story, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. In the description box below, you guys can find my Teespring store. You can also find a link to the sponsor, which is Arcadian. Arcadian makes fantastic, high-quality goat's milk soaps, beard oils, bath bombs, you name it. Fantastic products. Use my code JeremyPOV10. You'll save 10% off your order today. And once again, Teespring store is also down there. Fantastic products like my mug here. So you guys can check that out. There's a few other items on there, and I plan to have even more released in the coming months. So let's go ahead and dive into this news story. All right, I decided we would look at the article from Kotaku. I like their website, and that's, the one I decided I wanted to go with. There's a bunch of articles out there right now, as this has been breaking news over the last 24 hours. But Justin Roiland is leaving Squanch Games just a month after comedic shooter High on Life became 2022's most popular Xbox Game Pass launch. The studio co-founder, who voices many High on Life's characters, is currently facing 2 felony domestic abuse charges from 2020. Squanch Games announced late on Tuesday, shortly after Adult Swim revealed that it was dropping Roiland from Rick and Morty as well. But the CEO's resignation actually occurred over a week ago on January 16th, 4 days after news of the domestic abuse charges first surfaced, which Roiland has pled not guilty to, and 3 days after Kotaku first reported on a 2018 lawsuit, according to the studio, of a workplace harassment and discrimination, which was settled in 2019. Let's see. The passionate team at Squanch will keep developing games we know our fans will love, while continuing to support and improve High on Life, the studio tweeted yesterday. This entire story, obviously it started with Adult Swim cutting ties with Justin Roiland, and now here he is resigning from Squanch Games. Now, if this was a resignation that he wanted to, make, that's one thing. Whether or not he was forced to resign is another. So my thoughts on this are bouncing around a little bit. When I first read the Adult Swim article, I was a bit upset because obviously this guy is the creator. He is the voice of Rick and Morty. He's a huge part of that series. And to see him basically let go from his creation, this massive creation of his, to be then replaced, it upsets me. And the reason it upsets me is because in this country, I understand the Me Too movement. I understand there's a lot of monsters out there that have done things, and there's a lot of people that have finally paid the price for all the evils that they have done in this world. And I'm all about it. I want people that have done terrible things, especially when it comes to domestic abuse, abuse against women. It can be against men. It doesn't matter whether it's a male, female. None of it matters. Those people deserve to be punished. They deserve to have things taken from them. They deserve to go to jail if ultimately that's where it needs to be taken to. My issue with all of this is the fact that accusations can automatically lead to people losing basically everything. I don't know if Justin Roiland is a good guy or not. And I know that there's been prior things, and some people have come to despise him because of this. But ultimately, he has pled not guilty in this matter. He has stayed true to the fact that he's not guilty. And, at the end of the day, I think we need to let the courts go through this. And I get that this is bad press for these companies. It's bad press for Adult Swim to keep him on. But at the end of the day, we saw what happened with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. Was Johnny Depp a saint? No, but I followed that trial stingently, and at the end of the day, I think most of us here know who the monster was in that scenario, and I don't find it to be Johnny Depp. Amber Heard is an evil woman as far as I am concerned, and the back and forth between the two of them, they were in a toxic relationship. They shouldn't have been together, but the way that she tried to play victim and pin it all on Johnny that was an issue, and he had to go to court and he had to fight to clear his name. And I'm glad that for the most part in the public, court of public opinion, Johnny Depp is able to finally move on, and it looks like hopefully build his career again after, coming out of that hell that he was in. So I have a huge issue when accusations are made. We've got to let the court process go. We've got to let things work themselves out before we, punish these people. Chris Hardwick, I think it's Chris Hardwick, the host of the Talking Dead show, comedian, had these accusations made by an ex, I don't remember if she was an ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, whatever it was an ex of his. And I really appreciated that AMC, that Talking Dead, actually stood by him for the most part while they worked through those accusations, while they worked through what the truth was behind the matter. And as far as I last knew, he still had his job. Now, I don't follow The Walking Dead like I used to, but at the time I still was. And it was tough to see that because Chris seemed like a genuinely decent guy. And obviously, these personalities that we see in TV, movies, film, wherever, they can put on a front. I mean, they're good comedians, actors for a reason. But at the end of the day, people need their day in court. You need to give people due diligence. Just because an accusation is made does not make it true. And we're seeing that more and more and more. That upset exes, whether it's a male or a female, we're seeing upset, partners see their ex become successful and then they make accusations years later and try to destroy their careers. We see accusations that have no grounds to stand on. We saw the accusations in the Depp-Amber Heard trial, which is obviously one I'm going to continue to reference because it was the biggest one we've seen as far as a domestic dispute, in this country. It's the biggest case we have seen. It's the biggest one. It was televised. It was all over YouTube. Everybody was talking about it. And at the end of the day, it had its day in court, and whether or not you're a supporter of Johnny Depp or Amber Heard, Johnny Depp won ultimately, So my issue with this, obviously, I don't want to ramble too much on this. I just thought this story was interesting. Not only did Adult Swim cut ties with him, but he did resign. It's an interesting situation that he's leaving his studio behind, the studio behind, especially after High on Life, being the biggest Game Pass launch. I had positive reviews for it. If you guys watch my review, you guys know I'm a fan of that brand of comedy. So it's tough for me to see this. As far as I'm concerned, if Justin Roiland isn't voicing and isn't a part of Rick and Morty, I don't see it successfully moving forward. I know they have plans for a 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th season, and they plan to recast and move forward on it. I think you guys are going to probably see them go through with that attempt, and I think you're going to see a season 7, and maybe you'll see them scrape out a season 8, but I think the success of the show is going to all but plummet. The show obviously isn't at the heights it was when it was out in its first few seasons, but it's still a successful show. Obviously successful enough to have this, Adult Swim renew it for 10 seasons, when it's only just completed its 6th. But I don't think the show is going to be able to move forward successfully without the voice of those characters. The voice of Rick, the voice of Morty it's synonymous with them. It is the characters. You can't just replace that and move on. And I think that's a big mistake. I think the studio, especially Adult Swim, should have given this a bit more time, let it play out a bit in court before they made their decision. But they made the decision they made. That's ultimately my point of view on this, my opinion. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you ultimately think about this story. What do you think about Justin Roiland? Are you a fan of his brand of comedy? Are you a Rick and Morty fan? Are you going to continue watching Rick and Morty with new voice actors cast in it and without the original creator, having his input in the show? So you guys let me know what you think. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Jeremy's Point of View. Until next time, peace.